Well, folks, looks like we are now less than 2 weeks away from the season ending. And honestly, it's a damn shame to see this season fall the way it did. But anyways, what is going on YouTube and the great people of the internet? It is your boy, ThunderBuddy29 here, back today with another video. And today, I kind of just want to make this video and kind of just give my final thoughts of what I thought of this season, as we are now less than 2 weeks away from the season coming to a close. But before I get right into that, if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you smash that like button down below, subscribe, share this with your friends, and hit that bell so you will never miss another video. And of course, join the channel today. But anyways, we got some stuff to get into in this video, so without further ado, let's begin, shall we? Alright folks, so as I do at the end of every season, I always give my final thoughts and review. And honestly, this season was a complete fucking tragedy because this season actually started off strong. It was actually pretty good until they just fell off all of a sudden. It was honestly devastating to watch. But was there any good moments during this season? Well, yes. It definitely cannot be denied that there were still good moments that did happen during the season. Like you had decent new map locations, you had boss fights that were actually fun, you had Midas return, Floor's Lava return, and even the Tommy gun. Okay, speaking of Tommy gun, I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. But unfortunately, most of those good things happened during the first half, of course. But the question is, what went wrong with the season? Why did the season just fall off all of a sudden? Well, starting off with reason number one, the first thing we should definitely talk about was the Disastrous launch. Now, I did make 2 separate videos talking about this in the beginning, but I think it deserves to be mentioned again. It still cannot be denied that this turned out to be a very disastrous launch, and in my opinion, this was the worst season launch in Fortnite history, even to the point that it took almost a full day just to be able to play the season. And it turned out to have the longest downtime in Fortnite history, beating its previous record from 2018. But even after the servers were fixed and we were able to play the season, things were still going south from there. People were reporting to have connection problems, their games were crashing, etc. Even to the point that my game crashed twice. Now, as a lifelong gamer, I know not everything's going to be perfect every single time. The servers are not going to be perfect every time either. You're still going to have those problems every now and then. But it was still a little embarrassing with how they handled this entire fiasco, especially the fact that they did not give us any type of compensation. Like, they didn't give us like a free skin, not even a back bling or anything. But they were willing to do that for things that were way less worse than that. But for the longest downtime in Fortnite history, all we got was nothing. Now, I will admit that they did do a good job with communicating with us and like letting us know what was going on and stuff. But unfortunately, this would be the very last time that Fortnite would actually do a good job with communicating with the player base whenever something happened. But despite all that, things still went pretty good. At least for a while, about maybe a month or so. It looked like this season was going to be remembered for more than just being that season with a disastrous launch. Because like I said in the beginning, you had Midas return, you had Floor's Lava return, you had the Tommy gun return, you also had the Deagle return, but unfortunately it wouldn't last. Because reason number 2, the season became so dry and boring. During the second half of the season, there was like little to no content at all. You didn't have any map changes, no other LTMs return, not many other changes to the loot pool, but the only content that they really did offer during the second half were all collab related. Like you had Avatar: The Last Airbender and of course Star Wars, like they do every year of course. Like if they would have added in just more content of their own or content that would have fit perfectly with the theme of the season, I wouldn't be bringing this up. Like, they could have brought back the Kratos skin, which honestly would have been perfect for the theme of this season, but they didn't do it. Well, I'm going to get back to this part in a minute because we're going to get to reason number 3, and that is all of the terrible decisions that Epic Games made during the season. And what do I mean by terrible decisions exactly? Was it an update or was it a game update? Well, it was updates that affected the entire game overall. Like, for example, they removed cosmetic rarities. Now, I still think that was one of the most fucking atrocious decisions that they had ever done. And on top of that, too, they also added in a setting where now confrontational emotes, or offensive emotes, as some people did put it, to be censored. But the reason why I think these decisions were stupid was because They're focusing on the littlest of things that is the least of everyone's concern, instead of focusing on things that actually matter the most. But despite the community's huge opposition to these terrible decisions, they still doubled down on them anyway, pretty much ignoring the player base. Like, remember about a minute ago where I said Fortnite did a good job with communicating with us, like back in the beginning when the season had Disastrous launch? Well, unfortunately, my friends, this was the part where they start to fall off and pretty much no longer gave a shit. And another reason why this season fell off during the second half, reason number 4, and honestly, this is probably going to be a big hot take. It's probably going to put me in this situation, but the Avatar collab. I know there's probably a lot of people probably freaking out about this right now, but honestly, yes, the Avatar collab did ruin the season. And one of the reasons why I say that is because they vaulted all of the season-themed mythic weapons just to do this collab, essentially abandoning the theme of the season just to have this collab. And like what I said before, this was one of the most unheard of things when it comes to Fortnite. In fact, this was the first time in Fortnite history that they ever did something like this. One thing about Fortnite that I've always respected is, whatever theme that they choose for a season, even if it turned out to be the worst season of all time, they at least stuck with that theme until the end of the season. But in this case, they did not do that. Now, I'm not saying that the Avatar collab should not have happened at all. I still think it deserved to have its chance in the game, but they could have done it better. Like, for example, they could have made a special limited time mode out of it, and that way, it would not have interfered with the theme of the season. Like, imagine if they did something like this during Chapter 2 Season 4, for example. And that season was entirely Marvel themed, with the Marvel Battle Pass, Marvel Mythics, etc. And in the middle of it, they're like,
"Hey guys, we're gonna vault all of the Marvel Mythic weapons just so we could do an anime collab."
Like, imagine if they did that back then. There would have been so much fucking outrage. But it's like what I put in the title of this video. This is the reason why this has turned into one of the most confusing seasons ever. It's like, I don't even know what the season is even supposed to be anymore. It was supposed to be about the Greek gods and ancient Greek mythology, but instead, you had Avatar: The Last Airbender, then you had Star Wars on top of that, and like 1,000 others throughout the season. It was so confusing if you ask me. Or you could have did collabs that would have fit the theme of the season. Like I said earlier in the video, Kratos would have been a perfect one, but they didn't do it. I hope Epic learned their lesson. Like, if you're going to make a theme of a season, stick to it. Do not just go abandon it mid-season, because you're not making the season better. You're just making that season confusing, if not worse. But overall, my final thoughts and conclusion, in the beginning of the season, I thought it was mid, and I thought the season was going to get better over time, but unfortunately, they blew it during the second half. I mean, in the first half, it was fun, like you had Flora's Lava and a few OG weapons return, and I thought that was good, but the thing is, during the second half, it was so dry and boring, you had like little to no content at all, and the only major updates that they offered were only collab related, and that was it. One thing I can definitely say, this season is still better than last season, I'll tell you that much. And one of the big reasons why this season started falling off was because of the horrible decisions that Epic Games kept making during the season. Like, focusing on very small things that no one really cared about or was the least of everybody's concern, like the removal of cosmetic rarities. In reality, they should have focused on things that mattered more than that. I know some people are probably going to ask, why do you play this game then if you don't like it? Well, for the record, I barely played it at all during the second half. In fact, I spent more time on fucking Roblox than I did during the second half of the season, and that's already saying something. One thing I'm just hoping for is that they do not screw up the next season as badly as they did this one. But knowing Fortnite nowadays, especially since we've been in Chapter 5, they probably will somehow. It's honestly a damn shame because this season started off strong, but it just fell off so badly. This season did not deserve that. But what did you guys think of this season? Are you excited for next one? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But if you guys enjoyed or agree with this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications so you will never miss another video. Follow me on Twitter/X. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support that you've been giving me. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. And this is ThunderBuddy29. Sign off.